Let's Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Ango Mustafa. I am the head of programs and strategy at Uplift Hub. And at Uplift Hub, we are on a mission to building a community of resourceful individuals dedicated to collaborative learning, leading to job and wealth creation. So if you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening on one of our streaming platforms, welcome you to yet another episode of A Chat with a Mentor. And today we are having a chat with Ms. Raheemat Atata, and then she is a product designer. Ms. Raheemat, kindly introduce yourself.
Hi guys, good evening. Like you said, my name is Atata Raheemat and I'm a product designer at Softcom. I also do some kind of mentorship for young designers. I'm also a design educator. So on my various social media platforms, I teach design and I mentor people also. Well, that's just a brief introduction about myself.
Okay. So how did it all started? Your journey into tech, how did it start?
Oh, okay. So when I was in school, I used to be a front end developer. So then I was doing HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then around 2018, right, I started graphics design. So I did graphic design for some time. Then I have this friend who used to be he's a product designer rather. So he was actually the one that influenced my interest for product design. So though my main goal in life, to be honest, for now, is to always like solve problem, right? Try, like, I just want to like build stuff, like help people, that would help people solve problem basically. So when I found out there's actually a way to actually solve problem with design, at first it didn't really make sense to me. I was just like, is it possible to, like, is it just not design, it's just design? Like, how do you solve problem with design? I couldn't really I didn't get the whole idea behind it at first, but later on, I there was just a spark of interest about it that I had to dig deep to know more about it. Then, from there, I just switched career from front end development to product design. But then it was quite easy for me because I already have experience, like I already know what websites should look like and stuff, so it was easy for me to like make that switch. And also I used to be a graphics designer, so my eye for design while I was doing, even though I was terrible at it then, but at least the
Yeah,
skill was still there. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. So you've been a product designer for, let's say, 2, 3 years or more now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
3 years.
how would you describe a day in the life of a product designer?
Well, so basically, my days always start with meetings or sometimes work. Because if I don't get to like finish maybe something they asked me to do a day before, I tend to like wake up early so that I can finish it before stand up. So we normally have a daily stand up by on my team. We normally have daily stand up by 10 o'clock. Then that's just it. Then after that, probably I'll work. But most of the time, no, I will not lie, I don't used to work during the day. So I always do my work. But I really enjoy working in the night, to be honest. So
Okay.
most of the time I always push my work till night period. Then during the day, probably meetings. Mondays I normally have a lot of meetings and stuff. But so meetings mixed with work. Nothing much.
So, as a product designer, as a female, and even though I feel putting a female in front of any career, a product designer is a product designer, a male,
Exactly.
regardless of the gender. So, I know it's quite challenging for females in the tech industry. They work twice as hard, but then get half the recognition. How would you say these have affected you in the way? And then have you faced any challenges in this regard, and how have you overcome it?
To be honest, I've never felt like I've never feel like well, people that I've worked with or the company that I've worked for, they've
Okay.
never treated me like differently because I'm a lady, or it's like I've never had that feeling. I know I see a lot of posts where people say stuff like maybe they are being harassed, or maybe they are being manslain. There's mansplaining that people don't take their, maybe they don't get to voice out their opinion, but it has never been, I've never had that experience, so I can't really say much about that. It's just like the normal, well, where everywhere I've worked, they've always treated me like, okay, I have the skill, that's why I'm working. So people always respect my opinion in any kind of um, discussion, because of course if I'm not qualified to be in that position, I won't be there.
Yeah.
So I've never felt like maybe my opinion doesn't count because I'm a lady or anything. So yeah, like I've never. And of course I work as hard as the way a guide should work, like
Mm,
as a product designer. So well, I don't really feel like maybe any kind of intimidation, to be honest.
mm,
Like at the where I work, on my team, we are currently like just two ladies or three ladies out of like 10 guys. So well,
mm.
but everybody just do their work basically, and everybody is respected. And well, yeah,
Interesting,
that's
interesting. Okay, so let's get to the business of the day. Landing your first role as a product designer. I want you to take us through that journey. So anyone watching or listening to this right now, how can they land their first role as a product designer?
okay. Let's go. So I worked on what's it called, um a slide to like
Okay, I
guide.
think you can share.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
On it. Okay. Sorry, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Right, coming. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. I can.
All right. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay. So landing your first job as a product designer. All right. Okay. So before we continue, I've introduced myself. Like I said, my name is Raheemat Atata. I'm a product designer. I work at Softcom currently, and yeah, I love to actually help people grow in the product design space, in the UX space, because I know a lot of people are entering the field, but they don't really know the rudiments. Like they don't really understand. It takes some time to actually understand. I can only say the same thing happened for me. So I don't want people to face the same thing I faced. Like it was first confusing before everything started making sense. So yeah, I do a lot of things. I mentor. I also have a YouTube channel which I'm still trying to um I've started with it, but yeah, I've not been consistent. But yeah, I have an Instagram page also where I teach design. Um, yeah, I guess that's just all about me basically. So to land a job as a product designer, you need three things, right? The first thing is the skill, right? So when you say you want to, like, if you have the intention of I want to land a job, that means you have a skill that would actually qualify you to get a job. So if you don't have a skill, then there's no point looking for a job. So then how do you get the skill? You get the skill by practicing, asking the right questions, working on projects. Then let's just continue. Then the second thing you need a resume, right? So a resume is something that tells the person that is going to recruit you, or the person that is going to employ you, a little bit about you, your experience, your background, your skill. Yeah, yeah. Then the last thing, you need a portfolio. So basically your portfolio contains everything about your skill, basically the result of your skill. Okay, so I say I'm a product designer, I have a skill as a product designer. What have I been able to do? So no company would employ you without seeing what you've done or what you can do, right? So they want to see it, because they don't want to, like, of course, employ somebody that they don't know whether the person has the skill or not. But of course, if they can see that, oh, you've done this, that means you'll be a good fit for our company, right? So so let's just, so I'm skipping the skill part because, of course, like I said, for you to have to say you want to get a job, that means you have the skill. So for the purpose of this discussion, I'm assuming you already have the skill as a product designer, or you are learning, right? So first of all, you need a resume. Yeah, some of the key things that a resume should contain. So first of all, your resume should have your career goals and objectives. So you can just, like, at the beginning of your resume, or I'll show you what my resume looks like, but it's not really that impressive, but like, I guess that's just what I have for now. So your career goals, your educational qualification, that means like which school did you finish from. It's not compulsory to have, some people don't put it these days because, of course, whether you go to school or not does not really matter as long as you have the skill. So you can also put your educational background just to impress. For me, like, I know that my educational background has always helped in a way, because every time I tell people that, oh, I studied computer engineering in school, they ask, oh, okay, so why did you switch to product design? And then I start to tell them that, oh, because I have this, I used to, like, an engineer, or I studied engineering school. It makes it easy for me to collaborate with engineers when I'm working with products and stuff, because I know what they feel like. So it's always like easy to convince recruiter. So if you have an educational background, that I feel like when you want to maybe talk about yourself with an employer, you can always say stuff like that that would impress them. So it's okay to include it in your resume. Your work experience, which is the most important part. So I understand that if you are just getting started, you might not really have much experience. If you are just trying to, so of course this discussion is about landing your first job. So let's assume you've never worked in a corporate company before, but doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a work experience. So you can actually collaborate with friends. You can have like a couple of projects that you've worked on, just put some of those things. It's just this resume is always about like knowing how to sell yourself, right? So yeah, then the next thing, you can have soft skills like communication skills, collaboration skill, um having an eye for design, paying attention to details, all those soft skills that they don't require anything, you can always add them. Then volunteer experience. If you like probably volunteer for something, even it might not even really count, might not really make sense, but you can always add it. You don't know what it would spark in your recruiters in your recruiters impression about you. So yeah, so you can always add your volunteer experience. Then contact information. Don't forget to include your phone number, your email address, your your portfolio link. So for example, this portfolio links, your social media links, Instagram, Twitter, portfolio articles and stuff. So yeah, so these are the key things that you find in a resume. So let me just like quickly show you what a resume looks like. I'm sure you should have seen one before, but well, um, I'm trying to open one right now. Okay. Can you guys still see my screen though?
Yes, you
Hello?
can see your screen.
You can see
Yes,
my.
we can. Yes.
Yeah.
What can you see?
We are seeing the resume, the CV.
Oh, all right, great. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so this is what my resume is. So I have my career summary, educational background, technical skill. So technical skill can also be like, the skills that are required for you to be a product
Sorry, I'm only
designer.
seeing your previous the slide on the resume or CV. I'm not
Oh,
really
okay,
seeing
okay,
your.
okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to confirm. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, let me just I'm trying to okay. Oh shit. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
It's like,
Okay, so you
yeah,
can
yes.
see me now.
Yeah, I can see the CV now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like I said, you have your heading, your name. So your name should always be your heading, your email address, phone number, address, like where you live. Then summary or career objective or goals, whatever, educational background. Then technical skills relating to the position you're trying to. Why is this thing showing two places? Sorry. Um, coming single page. Okay, so your technical skills, your work experience, so where you've worked, so you can add them, the date, what you've done. So make sure that you highlight some of the things that you've done, right? Or some of the results of like probably you worked on a project and you were able to maybe increase the number of people that signed up or something. Just make sure whatever you are saying is something that would impress anyone reading it. So you can add if you have teaching experience. Depending, I just have this CV just to contain everything. Then volunteer experience, like I mentioned, if you volunteer for anything, doesn't have to make like it can be anything to be honest. Just make sure that it's relating to tech and probably the position you're applying for. Then you have soft skills, like I said, team player, problem solver, critical thinker, receptive to feedback, patient and stuff. Then portfolio and social media links, so you can have the link to your portfolio, your social media link, and yeah, that's just it. So yeah, so that's just it. Okay, so next we have portfolio. So types of portfolio and platforms. So we have custom websites, we have Notion, then we have Behance. So custom website, it simply means that you actually designed your own portfolio, you designed it yourself and you built it, like you built a website for it. So if you I'm sure we would have like seen one before, a website that has the person's name, the work the person has done and stuff. So that's just what custom website is. So, but Notion, I don't know if we all know what Notion is, but Notion is a software or a platform where you can like do a lot of things, take notes, have targets, and what they used to call this thing, where you can probably write maybe your to-dos and stuff. You can do a lot of things with Notion basically. So you can also have your your portfolio on Notion. I've seen a couple of Notion portfolios before, right? So it will just be a single pager where you have about me, then some of your works, and when people open it, they get to see different pages. So then we have Behance, Dribble, Instagram. We have different platforms like that. We have Award, a lot of platforms. So Behance, as a designer, you should know Behance because me, I go to Behance to get inspiration whenever I want to work on a project. So Behance allows you to, as a designer, to upload some of your work for anybody to see, right? So for Behance, you can also have a case study on it. So unlike Dribble just allow you to have short one pictures. If you subscribe, you can have a multiple pictures or shot of your work, right? So then Instagram, you can have carousel of your work, right? So all these things can be a portfolio that you can share to get a job. So portfolio, ways to build a portfolio of projects, right? So a lot of people ask these questions that since they've never worked with anybody or with a company before, how do they like have a portfolio or project. Sorry, please. So um so the ways that you can actually build a portfolio, right? One of them is when you collaborate with friends. So you can maybe see a problem together and collaborate with your friends and work on that project. So you can always add it to your portfolio. You just highlighting the parts that you took in that project. Then two, you can improve on the UX of an already existing platforms, right? So let's say, for example, you notice that what's it called? Let's say GT app. I know me, I for one, I've actually worked on a project for GT or a redesign for GT, so that's why I'm using GT app. So let's say GT app UX. When you use the app, the UX is really shitty and it's terrible. Like it's really frustrating. It's always frustrating for me, anyway. So me and my friend, we decided to work on and collaborate and work to improve on the platform, right? So you can also do this, right? You can do this design alone, or you can collaborate with someone, but yeah, you can improve on our already existing platform. So you don't even have to be that you have to build or redesign the whole platform. It could be that, okay, maybe you notice that you don't like the way when you want to uh, maybe when you delete a message on WhatsApp, the way it always shows that you've deleted the message, you can just redesign the UX around it, that it doesn't tell the person that, okay, you've deleted. That one is not much, to be honest, but you can always think of maybe an extra feature that you want a platform to have that it doesn't have, and you can just redesign it, write a case study, what you think. Maybe you want that feature so badly, and you notice people also complain about that same thing, so you can just write a portfolio, write a case study around it and put it as part of your, you can even, when you post it, you can tag those people and you get traction, right? So or you can work on a solo project. Maybe you notice there's a problem or something, an idea like comes to you and you feel like, oh, this would be a great project, can work on it and post it and add it to your portfolio. Or let's say you've applied to some companies before. Companies, before they give you job, they will give you a design challenge. So those design challenge, you can, when you work on them, because I cannot really assure you. Oh, dear. Please, sorry, I'm so sorry. So hello, can you guys still hear me though?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
you
Yes,
can
we
you
can.
can see.
All right, great. So when those projects, when they give you, you can always add them to your portfolio. Whether you get the job or not, you can add them to your portfolio. So then sorry. Okay. So getting a job. So various ways to get a job. We have referrals. So referrals is when somebody refer you to someone or to a company. So in this case, when you have, so one way to actually to how do I put it? One way to grow in this field is actually to have connection, right? So you want to connect with people that are in the field already. You want to connect with other UX designers, senior designers, and stuff, so that, or even just connect with people. Basically, doesn't have, they don't even have to be a designer in the tech industry. Just connect with them. You don't know when you would actually need them. Let me tell you a story, give you a little example. So there was a time in Softcom when they were looking for a what's it called, 3D designer. So there's this guy on Twitter that I'm always seeing is post is always posting 3D design. Funny enough, the person is actually one of my friend's younger brother, but I don't really have connection. Like we don't talk at all. I just know that I'm following him and he's following me. So I usually see his post, and then so during the meeting in the company one day, they said they are looking for a 3D designer. I just reach out to him to send his portfolio that they are looking for a 3D designer, and that was it. So you don't know who is actually watching. You don't know, like, make sure that you connect with people. They might not, when you connect with people, you might not need them at that time that you connected with them, but later in the future, you might, or you like you might not even know, sir. They will just do it without asking you. Right. So one of the best ways to actually get a job in the tech world is through referral. So a lot of time people actually refer me. Like most of the jobs that I've gotten, like through referrals and when people reach out to me in my DM, right? So secondly, application for applying for openings. So let's say for example, a company wants to hire, they will have it probably post it on their social media page, or they have it on their website that they are looking for this so person. So you can just always apply for that position. So all those ones are always 50-50. Either they get back to you or they don't get back to you, right? So that's why I said referral is always the best, because of course, except if you don't meet up with what they are looking for, they will always get back to you or reach out to you. So then the third one is online offers. So when people, like I said, most of the jobs I've gotten is through referral or offers online. So even my current job, I didn't apply for any opening. The lead designer. So let me just explain how I got my first job. So the lead designer at Softcom reached out to me in my DMs that they are looking for a product design support, actually, that they are looking for a junior designer for the support role, that they have a lot of product they are currently building and they need extra hands, right? So that is going to be like a contract role, contract designer, so just for 3 months, right? So immediately I saw the tweet and I saw it was on Softcom. I Funny enough, I knew the lead designer. Like I've known him for a very long time. I've been stalking him, to be honest. I followed him on Instagram, followed him on Twitter, because I just like his work, and I know he used to work at Creditals. There was a time I really wanted to work at Creditals, right? So that was when I knew him. Anyway, so when he reached out to me, I panicked that, oh God, I'm not real, because that was like after like a year or so, when it was not really long after I started my design career. So I thought, I'm not yet experienced to work in that kind of a industry or that kind of company. That so I thought, thank God my friend was beside me. So I said, Omo, I'm going to decline when I'm ready. Probably I will apply when they have any opening. Now my friend said, what are you doing that? Just apply. What was it there? Just tell them yes, that it doesn't really matter. Like people like learn on the job, and it's not like you don't even know anything. It's not like you're not good or stuff. So and yeah, so the only reason why he actually reached out to me was because he has always been seeing my post around, because I was following him. Then I always make sure I post my work on the show. Like there's no work that I do that I don't post on social media, unless it is something a design that I've signed, what's it called, what do we normally call this contract, this
Non-disclosure
Non-disclosure.
agreement.
yes, exactly. So unless I've signed that, then, but if it's not, if it's a free project or maybe a design that I'm just practicing, I just post it, talk about what I do. And to be honest, that's how people actually followed me, and that's really helped me like a lot. So he has always been seeing my post on social media. That was why he reached out to me in my DM. So yeah, that's how you actually get online offer. If you keep your work in your computer or in folders on your laptop, and you don't post it, and you expect to get these offers, it won't come, except if you have a friend that would refer you, right? That people that know that you do these things. But if you don't show the world that this is the skill I have, this is what I can do, nobody will reach out to you that they want to give you a job, to be honest. So I'm actually an advocate for posting your job, talking about what you do, and yeah, let social media do the rest, do its magic. It might not happen like overnight or in a month's time, but trust me, somebody is actually somewhere watching, to be honest, and before you know it, you start getting offers. Well, yeah, so yeah, some of the like 3 ways that I know that you can actually get a job as a product designer. So another thing is platforms where you can also get jobs for a product design role. First of all, the first one is LinkedIn. I would advise anybody, if you're a product designer or anybody in tech generally or anywhere, except it doesn't even have to be in tech, you have to have a LinkedIn page, because LinkedIn is just for corporate is a corporate social media platform, right? Where you post stuff that are related to work and you get to connect with people. And also, yeah, LinkedIn is a very great place to actually apply for jobs, for roles and product design roles. And it can also filter based on your experience. So if you're applying for junior designer role, you can just check and see. So we have startup.jobs, right? So I came across this page on Twitter. So they have a Twitter page. They post UX design roles. So when you go to their website, you can see other roles for maybe for front-end engineering, PMs and stuff. For they have for UX or product designer role, anyone. So yeah, you can check that out. You can check Twitter to people, depending on the people that you follow on Twitter. You can get to see when those companies. So most companies sometimes after they have it, or maybe they have it on their website, you won't know, right? So some of the people, maybe the lead designer in that company, would not tweet about that, oh, we are looking for this position, please apply, right? So but if you are not following that person, or any of your mutuals is not following that person, you won't see that tweet. So Twitter is also a great place to actually get jobs. Relocate.me, this one adds extra perks to it, because not only that you get jobs, you also get to see jobs that offer relocation. So if you want to leave Nigeria, you want to work with a company outside Nigeria, this relocate.me, they have, it's not just for UX designer, but you can also see UX design rules there for jobs that offer relocation. Then there's this author, or I don't know what they call it, but yeah. So this one too is a product design, is a job platform where you can search for the role you want. Hexagon UX is for females that are designers, that are looking for jobs, mentorships, and a lot of other things. There's Indeed too, it's a job platform too, where you can search for the kind of jobs that you want. So yeah, those are the fews that I know. There are a lot actually. So, but anyway, so after let's say after you've applied to a company, and then there's a lot of interview process, right? So after you've got the recruiter have checked your CV and your portfolio, and they feel that you are actually fit for the role they want to employ someone for, then they'll reach out to you, then they will tell you, okay, so we are supposed to have, so they are different for different companies, it is different. Some companies is not up to 5%, some is even more than 5. If you are applying to big companies, you might even go through like 8 process. But anyways, these are the ones that I know, right? So you have the introductory interview, where probably it's not always more than like 10 minutes, where you get to like introduce yourself to the recruiter. So here it might just be that, depending on the company, it might just be that you'll be talking with a recruiter or someone in the HR team. So this introductory interview might just be between you and the HR. So if after you have this introductory interview, they will see whether you are a great fit for their company before they now transfer you to maybe the design lead or the design team, so the head of design. After the introduction interview, you now have technical interview with the head of department, the head of design. Yeah. So you get to like speak with them. So this one, they'll ask you questions about your design thinking, everything about design, basically your design process. Like they'll ask you like technical questions, like, okay, if you have two products that you want to, or maybe you have two ideas, and is entirely different from what maybe your stakeholder or your PM has like a different idea, what will you do at that point? And all those questions, right? So that is the function of the technical interview. So if you pass the technical interview, they will now send you a mail this thing is not always like, it's not linear as I'm saying it. So it depends on, actually it depends on the company, like I said. So you have they send you a mail for a design test or a design challenge. So it depends on the company's choice. So some might send you a test that, okay, you have to design, they'll give you a problem to work on it. So they'll tell you, okay, work on the, maybe the home page and the something screen shouldn't be more than this and this. So they give you the guideline of that challenge. Some would actually give you a live test where you do like a whiteboarding challenge, where they will give you a problem, then they will ask you to think about it, and then like walk them through the way you would solve that problem. So they don't this type, this kind of, I don't know. It's not all, in all cases, they don't expect you to design. They just want to see your problem solving skill, how you can actually interpret problems and solve them. So yeah, it depends on the company. You can also have a live app critiquing session whereby they'll tell you, okay, um, Spotify, what do you like about it? And then they'll ask you to critique that app. So they expect you to talk about all the UX process and UX thinking, the design thinking around the app and everything. And yeah, so it depends. It actually depends on the company. It depends on their choice. But yeah, so this is what they do. Then after this, they'll test you for culture fit interview, which is to know whether you can actually collaborate with their employees or the people that work in that company. So this one, they ask general questions about maybe how you interact with people, how you talk and stuff, right? So just to test this interview also depends on the company. So some companies don't even do this culture fit interviews. But yeah, then the last part is the offer. So this offer, they will now ask you what is they might ask you at the beginning, or they might not. They will ask you that what is your salary expectation for this role and stuff, right? So for me, anybody that, if they are trying to, like, for this last part, I would advise you, because you've already proved yourself worthy. That's why you are able to get to that last part. You can always, for a company to say they want to hire, they already have a budget for the person, the extra hand, or the person they want to hire, right? So they already know, but they want to hear from you. So not for you not to shoot yourself in the leg or sell yourself small. Always try to find out what their own offer is, so that, of course, even if the offer is way past the amount you were planning to, you're expecting them to pay you, you can always still shoot it higher. Then you can now negotiate, or if it is not negotiable, you can always just agree or disagree to the amount they are planning to offer. And then they'll send you the contract, and yeah, voila, you've gotten your job, right? So to to round up this talk, remember, to land a job is easy when you have the skill and you have something to show for it. So I know a lot of people, somebody actually reached out to me in my DMs that, please, I need a job, but I don't have a portfolio. How do I get a job? To be honest, if if you want to really get a job and you're desperate, do what is needed to actually get the job, right? Have a portfolio. But for me, right, I always tell people that when you're starting out, don't focus about getting the job and having money. Focus on getting the skill, so that people, trust me, if you have the skill, people are willing to pay any amount to have you. Like, you, you have the higher hand, because of course you have the skill, right? Now, like, if anybody reach out to me that they want a designer or something, and I tell them this is what I want, like, this is the amount, and they say they can't pay, it doesn't really matter to me or anything. It is their loss, because they won't get to have me on their team, right? So for somebody that is just learning, or I will always advise you, focus on getting the skill. When you are sure that you have everything, you have a resume, you have your portfolio, you can even apply to Apple, you can apply to Google, right? And then, to be honest, even if Google or Apple does not come, a company that would pay you for your work would actually come. But if if even if you have the skill and you don't have a portfolio to show it, why would anybody want to employ you if you are not showing them that this is what I can do? No, even you yourself, ask yourself that if I have a company and I want to be paying somebody, will I be just be paying the person for free? Of course, I would want to see what the person can do before I employ that person. Just like when you want to sew clothes, you don't just give your clothes to random tailors. You always try to, oh, do you have an Instagram page? Let me see what you've done before. So that's just how it works. If you don't have a portfolio, then there's no point in looking for job. Try to have that. So, but in my case, it was actually different. Oh, well, it is not different. I had a portfolio, but I didn't have like a case study and stuff. I only had my Dribble account, and my Dribble account consists of 2 screens, 3 screens, and stuff. But I was just lucky because my lead designer has always been seeing my post on social media and how I talk about design and stuff. And when I did of course they gave me a design challenge. I went through all the process, interview process. The design challenge they gave me was my first case study that I've ever written. Right? They gave me that design challenge and I finished it within 5 days, which I was supposed to submit, right? And I worked on a case study on it. I submitted it. I did a design presentation for it, right? So even though I didn't really have that perfect case study or portfolio or I was able to prove that I can actually do the work they want to employ me for. So, but before you can actually get your foot in the door to have that opportunity, you might not even have it because of course things are changing. A lot of people, especially in this UI UX design space, a lot of people are moving into that field and the competition keeps getting higher and higher, right? Like when I think about how I got into Softcom, I don't know if probably if the way it is now is how it is then, I don't think I would have actually gotten the opportunity, to be honest, because I know like people that applied, like the recent hiring process, hiring what's it called, that happened recently. They had over 1,000 people that applied, and they ended up employing 19, right? So out of like 1,000. So like I was just thinking that would I have gotten that opportunity? I doubt it, right? So if you really want something, you would be willing, or you'll be willing to do whatever it takes to actually get that thing. So my advice is get the skill and have something to show for it, right? Have your portfolio to show that this is what I can do, right? So of course, focus on developing your skill at first before you start applying for jobs. And yeah, so thank you for listening. Please open
Thank,
to the
thank
question.
you very much for the insightful session. We actually wanted it to last for 30 minutes and then you took so much time and then it was insightful and
I'm so
very
sorry.
interesting. No, it's fine, it's fine. Thank you. So we have a question from Nancy. So she is asking, must we always post our UI designs? Can we also talk about the UX majorly?
Yeah, you can. So of course, because one thing people don't get is UI is part of UX. If your UI is terrible, then your UX is automatically terrible, to be honest, right? So let's say you design one screen, or like you design a screen where people can send money and receive money, right? So you want to talk about the reason why you made some certain decisions, why you use this color. Like you can just pick one part and write a thread about how you solve the problem. To be honest, like it is always enticing, and it makes people see that you actually know what you're doing. You're not just replicating a random design. You actually know what you're trying to do, or the problem you're trying to solve, right? So just be different. You can't just write story of, oh, I this is the design process and stuff, and you don't have any visual to show it. People like it will be boring, to be honest. Even when you are building or designing your portfolio, make sure that you have visuals as much as you have text. Don't have too much text and you have less visuals. It won't be interesting for anybody, to be boring, right? So of course, if you want to like talk about UX, you also have to have a visual to back up the UX decisions or the UX process.
Yeah, thank you for that. So we have a follow-up question also from Nancy. She's
Okay.
asking, what social media platforms do you think we should go on to show our works? I'm planning to go on LinkedIn and Twitter. Should I add Instagram? I think you've answered that in your
Yeah,
presentation
so
earlier.
you just do whatever works for you, right? I noticed that I have a lot of followers on Twitter, so I always focus on Twitter more and LinkedIn too. So to be honest, I just do everything. If I work on a project today, as at that time when I didn't really have a job, right? I make sure that I work on a design every day, then I'll post it. So I'll post on all my social media pages. I don't even care the number of likes at a point or the number of interaction. I just know it is out there. So I post on all my social media pages. And likewise, some of the things that I've been doing, because I've been trying to like help people as much as I can. So I have this what's it called, this clubhouse community where me and my friends, we discuss different issues or different topics on UX design and stuff, right? So even I post it on all my social media pages just for people to reach as much people as possible. So it's not like you are paying for to post, right? So why not just post to all? But if you notice that you have this number of following this page, so you might want to focus more on that and then add the remaining ones. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So we have another question from Abdul Rashid. Is asking, how many case study is enough for a portfolio to look job ready?
To be honest, three is enough, even two. If you have to, like, I have currently I just launched I won't call it launch because it was just design, right? So my portfolio, like, it just has like two case studies, right? And yeah, two case studies. The remaining ones are still on coming soon, right? So which shows that okay, I'm still working on it, or yeah, something like that. Like, I'm still working on it. So yeah, you can have two, you can have three. Just make sure that everything is intact, is well presented, is well designed, and you have all the information anybody would need to actually understand the problem that you solved working on that project.
Okay, so Nancy wants to, she feels you didn't really understand that first question. So I'll ask her to unmute so she can explain further for you to answer.
Okay.
So Nancy, you can unmute now.
Okay, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, about the UX part I was talking about, like I was trying to, would I say, create my content pillars for my social media handles today. And most of them are usually based on UX. UX is not, is, let me see if I'll rush and give an example of what I'm talking about. But the UX, one of the examples now that I put is just like I divided it in a way that the UX part now is all those, for example, talking about quantitative research. It's just talking about theoretically about the necessary things that UX designers should know. It's not really talking about what I try to modify in this UI without actually showing the UI. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I do actually. So if you want to share, like, it's not easy to just share quantitative research. There is difference between posting content for people to learn, and there's difference between using that. So the quantitative analysis or research that I just mentioned is a technique that you apply in UX, right? So there's a difference between applying it to solve a problem, and there's a difference between posting it as a knowledge for people to learn, right? So which one are you trying to do?
Most of them is posting it for learning. But do you think I should reduce it to posting mostly my work?
What do you want? What is your end goal? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Did you hear
Nancy.
me? Did you hear
Yes.
me?
What is your end goal? Why do you want to post them? Why do you post them? What is the end goal?
Is mostly to inform, but as a, will I say, a product designer that has more experience than me, what do you advise? Should I post mostly my works or to inform?
So it depends on you, to be honest, right? So the topic of this discussion is how to land a job. So if you have a job already, then you can focus on, okay, posting content. For me, the reason why I post content is to help people, because a lot of people usually reach out to me, right? And I know I can't help everybody individually, so I just open that page to post, like, some, even I write articles based on some of the frequently asked questions that I get from people. So it depends on your end goal. If you are actively looking for job, I would advise you to start applying what's it called, technique in your project, what's it called, in your project, right? To actually build a portfolio and get a job. But if you already have a job and you just want to use it to help people, of course you can. It depends on your end goal. I can't make that decision for you. Do you get? Hello?
Yes, I get. Thank you. I get. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for those answers. So we have another questions from Julius. Is asking, what about getting an internship before applying to a junior role, or can one get a job directly?
Yes, it depends on what you want. Even if you want to apply for internship, these days people don't just they don't want to, because of course internship is just an opportunity for you to learn under someone, to like actually learn. But they want to give you, like, you can't get internship opportunity these days if you don't have the skill, to be honest. So whether you want to apply for internship or you want to get a junior design, you can do any of them. It depends on you. Like, you can do all these things. You can get a For me, I didn't do any internship. In fact, I didn't even do startup. I didn't startup.ng. I didn't do it is start.ng. I didn't do HNG. I didn't do all those things before I got to my job, right? My first job. So, like, you don't even need it. You can just have that goal that I want to land a full-time role, right? So, and of course, full-time role will pay you more than an internship. But if you have the opportunity to get an internship, fine. But you can just make it a goal that, okay, this is what I want. So if whether it's internship, whether it's junior design, it's still the same process. They want you to have the skill, and if you have the skill, you have to be able to show it that, oh, I have the skill. So when, of course, they expect in internship roles, when you're applying, most of people that apply for that role are always people that are just learning, right? So they might not even have yours might be different. You might have more than what they actually require. So it depends on you, but the end goal is to get a job. So the process is still the same thing.
Thank you very much for that. So we have another question from Toluani. He's asking, I have started posting my works on social media and it has been really helpful, especially Twitter. Okay, your retweets are wonderful, by the way, but I want to post on LinkedIn and I don't get as much engagement as other platforms. What are the things that helped me, and should I change my profile to the content creator in LinkedIn? Do you think it will boost my post?
So LinkedIn is actually quite stressful, to be honest, because I remember before I even got like much engagement on my LinkedIn, I normally get like 1, 2, 3. Then another thing is that, like I said, a lot of people are already in this UX field now. So if you are posting anything, make sure that it's something that is extraordinary, like something not extraordinary per se, but something that, like, is not the usual, right? So if you want to, but to be honest, if you are still consistent, gradually you get like connections. And of course, don't forget to also try to interact under other people's posts on LinkedIn. Maybe you have to try to connect with more designers, right? So that when they post, you can always like have something to say or comment under their post, so that from there you can build like a relationship, and from there people start connecting with you. The more connections you have, the more easy it gets for you to actually reach more people. So yeah, so LinkedIn is all about connection. So just keep on connecting. It's not like the other social media pages that you're trying to look for followers so you don't follow people back and stuff. But so yeah, so well, LinkedIn, just be consistent, interact under people's posts. If you want to post your design, and of course, another thing, don't forget there's this something we call the storytelling skill on LinkedIn. Anything, even if it is that you design a login screen, write a very long story about how you made that decision, like make it very sweet. People love stories. So I'm not saying you should lie, but like write it in such a way that, don't just put that, oh, I designed a login screen and put hashtag and tag people. Trust me, you'll get plenty engagement. But write out some of the challenges, or some of like the decisions you made to actually come up with that design. People love to read a good story. So make sure you know how to like write like good story to actually push your work on LinkedIn. I think that's the best way to actually get engagement on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that insight. We have another question from Abdul Rashid Idris. He's asking, even though people have different learning paths and time, what is the average time someone learning should take to land his job? I mean, is it okay after learning for a year into design, or it's too unrealistic?
To be honest, like there's no time limit. You can even do after 1 month. It's funny, right? But as long as you have something to show. So within, it's not possible, of course, to work on 3 projects in 1 month and have someone that is just starting out and have a case study. So like there's no time limit to it. For me, when I got my first gig, not a job right now, my first gig that was paid for, like, so the person was paying me 20K every month. The person was working at career wise as a front end engineer, and he has a side gig, a side project that he's working on. And that time I was still doing daily UI challenge, like 3 months after I started my design career. And he reached out to me that I've been seeing your work everywhere and stuff, that he would like me to work on a project with him. I totally turned it down, that I'm not yet ready, that I'm still, he said no, that I should not worry, that he even said he offered me the money to encourage me to actually like work on the project, because I was like, no, I'm not yet ready. Like I don't have the skill yet. He said, no, 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 no. That he will guide me and stuff. So he's a front end engineer, so he has worked with designers before, right? So it makes it easy for him to like, so we collaborated on the design together. So it was not even me, only me making. So I think it's one of the things that actually helped in my growth, to be honest. So yeah, like there's no time limit. It's just when you are ready and when you have everything you need. So if people trying to put time to it, I feel like it's just a way of like, let's say, being lazy or being too optimistic, even though they know deep down that they are not yet ready because they don't have, but they feel like, oh, because I've been learning for 2 3 months, I'm ready to apply for job. Do you have what it takes to actually apply for job? Do you have your resume ready? Do you have a portfolio? Have you tried to compare what you have with other people's own and stuff? So yeah, you know deep down in your mind that you are not yet ready. So just continue to learn, to be honest. And
Thank
you
you.
get better as you practice. So the more projects you work on, the more, like, the better you are at that particular thing, or the more you get, the better you get in it.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. So we have a question, and this will be our last question for today, from Habib. He's asking, is the number of retweets and engagement a criteria in getting jobs on Twitter?
No, it's not. If you like get 100 gig, 100 retweets, 1 million, 1 million likes, like, if, like, you don't know, people post this thing on Twitter that they'll say that, like senior designers or experienced designers, that they they would see someone's design, and then instead of them to try and correct them on like some of the mistakes they made in the on the design, they will now like say stuff like, nice work, well done and stuff, like, right, that they are not helping the person, that they are just like they are not helping the person at all. So most of the time I tell people that when you start applying on Twitter and you start getting traction, people get distracted by that and they feel like probably they are already good, or like I have someone that normally reach out to me in my DM to help her check out design, to give critiques and stuff, right? Then when she started getting a lot of traction on her this thing, she stopped asking me. So these days, when she reach out to me in my DM, she tell me to retweet for her to get like more traction and stuff. And like I wanted to tell her that, is that what you really need? Is it more traction? Of course, you need more traction, but of course, are they giving you the kind of response or the kind of feedback that you need to actually grow? So people get distracted. It's not the criteria. No company will offer you a job if you are not good. So even if you have 1 million likes and 1 million followers, they don't care as long as you have the skill and you can show and prove that you have that skill.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you very much for that. So we have a question here from Obi Michael, but his question seems to be like we need another webinar, or another schedule another meeting for this. So, but if you can just answer briefly in 30 seconds or 1 minute, is asking, please, can you list out what we need to learn in user experience UX field to get a job?
You need
Can
to
you
learn
briefly?
everything about the job. You just need everything that you know about UX is everything you need to get a job. So if
Thank you,
you
thank you
like
for that concise answer. So probably just Obi, just join the Uplift community. I've shared some link, so we might need to schedule another call, probably with a UX expert, a UX designer that would give you a concise insight on what you need to land a job in the UX field. So we have a contribution from Latifa Rufai, and then she said, I posted on LinkedIn once in a while, and I get very few engagements too, but I don't let that stop me from posting, as there are quite a number of opportunities on LinkedIn. Sometimes you just take out time and search for a certain role you're interested in, and you will find several results showing opening. Apply and apply. Yeah, I'm talking about LinkedIn. Thank you very much, Latifa, for that insight. So Raheemat, do you have any parting words?
well, to be honest, my parting word is still focus on your skill, learn, practice, build your portfolio. To be honest, that's your strongest weapon to get a job. Like that is your strongest weapon, because that is what showcases what you are, what you can do, the value you can offer a company. No company would employ someone that does not have the skill, right? So if you truly want to get a job, like just focus on your skill and post your work. Let people know what you can do. Don't hide it in your don't be scared. Nobody, even if it is terrible, to be honest, like I as much as I don't try, I try not to criticize people's work on social media, but if it's I'm not always free. So most of the time the only thing I get to do is retweet and like. So I know that I have a lot of designers on my page that they would see it and they would comment. I might not be able to comment on all, but I comment on the ones I have this like I have the strength. Sometimes you don't just want to like say anything and stuff. So, but yeah, just post your work on social media, let people see what you can do and be consistent. To be honest, before you know it, like offers will start rolling in. I like all the jobs I've ever gotten. I've never gotten any job that I applied through an opening. I get them through like offers and referrals. So yeah, just continue to learn and post your work. Let people see what you can do. And yeah, don't worry, the
So,
magic will happen soon.
thank you very much for your time, Rahima, and then to everyone that have joined this call. Thank you very much for staying with us. So you've heard it all from her. Learn that skill, work on yourself, and then just be prepared for what's to come. If you have the required skill, the required knowledge, you'll always be ready for jobs. So thank you very much for joining us on this call. So do well to join the Uplift community on Telegram, and then I've shared several links as well. So thank you very much for your time. And then Raheemat, can you just share your social media handle where they can reach you?
Okay, so my Instagram handle is Atata _ Raheemat. Then I'm trying to type it. Okay, that's for my IG. Then for my what's it called, Twitter, it's Raheemat _ Atata. Okay, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Do have a lovely evening, everyone.
You too. Bye.